Welcome to today's episode of Sassy Detectives. We're your hosts, Tori.
And Ray.
We're here to talk about anything and everything Nancy drew, and today we'll be talking about Message in a Haunted Mansion. Roll the intro. Okay, so Message in a Haunted Mansion. This is the third game in the series. This
When
is
did it come
also, I think it was 2000. Let me double check.
Oh yeah, this game is older than I am.
Oh boy, that makes me feel like something. You are correct, though. It is not older than me. But it is older than you. That's fine. But this is also, the fun fact, the only game that Her Interactive ever ported to Game Boy Advance.
Oh.
And I have that version.
Oh.
And it's very strange, but it kind of functions the same way. Save points are just kind of weird. Like, it's like as you like hit certain plot points, it just tells you like you finished the chapter or whatever, and then you move on. So it's a little weird. I have streamed that before, and that's on YouTube if anybody wants to look that up. But yeah, it's the only game they ever ported to Game Boy Advance. So fun facts for that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I have no fun facts about this.
So I guess we could just start talking about the plot. Or like we'll just go through the mystery here. Do you want me to kind of head this up? Because I have a feeling I might know this game a little better than you.
Oh yeah, you definitely know this game better than me. There are a few games that I don't know as well. This is one of them. The other one is probably the Shattered Medallion, as we've talked about a few times.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's going to be a fun episode, guys. It's going to be a really fun one.
So you
It's
start...
going to be a lot of crying.
Okay, yeah, that game's gonna be something. So in Message in a Haunted Mansion, you start the game in the room that you're staying in, which is called the Chinese room.
Is beautiful, by the way.
Beautiful room. I would definitely stay in this room.
Decorators popped off. They popped off while decorating this room.
Yeah, so like everything's just very nicely like decorated. It is very cozy. There's lots of like Chinese antiques in there. If it just feels very like cohesive. It's very pretty. So one of the big things to note in this room is the tapestry. And if you've been around the Nancy Drew community for long enough, you've probably heard the poem. Listen, my child, to the story of dreams, and know the beginning is more difficult than it seems, and it goes on, goes on. I think Her Interactive, didn't they make like a wall tapestry of this at some point?
Yeah, they did a wall tapestry of this one and of Jane's in Curse of Blackmore Manor.
Right.
And they're both really cool, and one of these days I want to get either a poster, a blanket, or a tapestry of it, because it's so cool. It's cool, okay?
It's very cool. It's very classic. Did you know that there is actually a difference in the tapestry if you're playing on junior or senior mode?
Really?
Yeah, so in junior detective, the keywords are in a lighter color on the tapestry. In senior detective, the words are the same color. Like all the words are the same color. So there's no like highlight. So yeah. Fun facts for that. So also what's in here is like your suitcase, which you see Nancy's clothes, but they also had the first iteration.
Her ugly clothes.
Yeah, her ugly clothes, but it's okay.
Her ugly clothes.
Nancy is still a fashion icon. We will talk about Phantom of Venice in the future, and we'll have more to say about that.
Oh my gosh, that'll be so fun.
But they have the first iteration of like Nancy's notebook in this game. It's very weird.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of fills itself in like as you meet characters and learn like facts about them, and like Nancy will bullet point in the notebook. I didn't really find it that helpful ever, but I don't know, maybe one of you guys did. I don't know. Let's see.
I just go with the flow with this game, and
yeah,
I vibe. I have fun.
There's a dragon figure in the room that has the symbol, like the Chinese symbol for the word daughter, which is one of the highlighted words on the tapestry. So it's good to make note of that. What else is in this room? I think, for some reason, Nancy decides to tug on the bedpost knob, which is stuck. It's some of the logic I don't understand. Like,
It's Nancy logic.
yeah,
Like
it's Nancy Drew logic.
it's the same. This butter should loosen up the keyhole. Let's put it in my pocket.
Yeah,
Same
exactly.
person. That's how she thinks. It's Nancy. I have no words. I mean, I have a lot of them, but just not. This is not the time for those words.
Okay. So that's pretty much like everything there is to see in Nancy's room. So if you leave your room, you can go down the hall, and like the next like room of note is Abby's room. So you can knock on her door, and she comes to the door and talks to you. And Abby is in a very strange character, and she believes in ghosts, and she tells you things like the spirits know you're here and they find you interesting, and later today they want to talk to you or whatever. She like says weird stuff like that.
May I say something about Abby?
Please say something about Abby.
Okay. Am I the only person who gets like, the drama teacher in High School Musical?
Mrs. Darbus.
Doesn't she kind of like remind you of like a young version of her?
She is giving Darbus vibes. I can
With,
see
like,
that.
Yeah, yeah.
She's
like-
giving all of the leads to Sharpay and Ryan. I could see it. And that's kind of canon, because later on when you ask, it's either when you ask Rose or when you ask Hannah, because you can actually call Hannah in this game. They'd say that Rose and Abby met because they used to do like local theater together.
Oh my gosh, it is canon!
Yeah, so it's canon. Abby is
Yes.
young Mrs. Darbus.
Amazing. She goes on to create some of the most insane high school productions.
So Abby talks to you and she says some weird things, and then if you turn around, there is a dumbwaiter, which is broken.
Oh, the dumbwaiter. Sorry, I think dumbwaiters are so cool.
Dumbwaiters are really cool.
Every building that has more than one story should have a dumbwaiter.
I really wish my house had a dumbwaiter, and I would like ask people that were downstairs in my house to send snacks up to my room. That's what I would really want.
That is amazing. At my job.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. At my job, I work at a library, and my librarian coworkers and I were talking about like how cool it would be to have a dumbwaiter here. Because like you just send books up and down without having to take boxes down the stairs, because our elevator is broken at the moment. So whenever we go up and down stairs with books, it's in boxes. And
that's also a Nancy Drew puzzle.
Oh my god, elevators. It is a Nancy Drew puzzle.
So
my work is a big Nancy Drew puzzle.
Yeah.
Without the dumbwaiter.
So then what else is upstairs? Oh, there's a big pile of like construction stuff in a corner. And then if you go past that, there is the lovely grand staircase that leads into the entry, which I think is also another beautiful area of the mansion, if you will.
It's so pretty. Like the stained glass.
Like, it's so pretty.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And then like the inlay in the floor and the chandelier, like it's all really, really nice. So once you're down the stairs, you have two options. Where do you usually go first? Do you usually go into the parlor, or do you usually go into the hallway first when you play?
I try to avoid Lewis as much as possible, so I go to Rose first.
Same. Okay. So if you go down the hall, which it is underneath the staircase, and you go all the way down to the hall, into the hall, it goes into the dining room, and you talk with Rose, who is your host. And this game is early enough in the series where I think they still kind of suffer from the like very strange movements from the
Oh my god,
characters.
yes.
And
Oh my
Rose
god.
does this weird thing with her head all the
Yes.
time where she just like tilts her head toward her shoulder all the time, and then she like moves her hand, and it's very strange.
It's very Barbie doll. You know
It's
what I
very
mean?
Barbie doll, and it's fun to imitate, but it's a
Yeah.
little silly when you play it now.
Yeah. Well, it was 2000, okay?
Hmm.
Like, that
That's
was
true.
great for 2000.
They were doing pretty good. It is better than Stay Tuned for Danger, which again we'll talk about in the future. Uh,
Iconic.
but the character movement is better than Stay Tuned for Danger, so they're improving. It's fine.
They
So you talk with
are.
Rose, and she kind of is like, "Oh well, you know, this is what's going on, and I can't believe that all these weird things have been happening, and it's just so frustrating, and blah, 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 blah." And Nancy's like, "Well, how can I help?" And she's like, "Oh, well, do this, like, put these wood panel pieces back into the floor, because we can't figure it out. And so that's your first
Oh my
puzzle."
god. Okay, this puzzle though, like, it's so simple. Like, the puzzle itself is so simple. Like, it's the bird, you fit it in there. It's great. The only hard part is that, like, it has to be exactly
Yeah.
there. Like, you can't have it like 1 pixel off. No, it has to be perfect. And I've always played this game with a trackpad.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
But
And
like,
it's just very unforgiving. And it's like, if you don't lay it perfectly, then it'll look right to you. But like, none of the pieces will be like clicked in, you know? It's just very
it's
tedious.
sad. It's sad.
Yeah. So once you finish, then you talk to Rose again, and then she tells you, "Oh, you should scrape all the tiles from the ceiling upstairs in the hall. So find something to scrape with." So you're like, "Oh, okay." So then you got to look around. When you're in the dining room too, you can also look at the schedule of everybody who is like in the mansion, and it tells you like when they're in
Hmm.
or when they're out. So that's
Which is very
interesting.
convenient. That's very convenient. I
Yeah.
actually think that's a very cool way of doing things. Like, I think they've only had a few others that have a schedule like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Deadly Devices one, but you can only do like AM or PM with that
Yeah.
one. But this one was like very, very well done with that.
Yeah, and
Because,
then
yeah.
I also think that you find in the dining room a fire insurance policy. So you know that the mansion has a fire insurance policy, which is important to note for later. And then
Yeah.
that also has the Chinese character for fire on it. I remember that. Um, so if you leave the dining room, there is another door that you can go in the hallway, and it goes down to the basement. Um, so if you go down to the basement, there is a dude, and he's working on some wood things, and you're like, "Oh, who is this?" And you talk to him, and his name is Charlie,
Charlie!
and
Yeah.
he is voiced by Scott Carty. So
I
it was
love it.
Ned
I
before
love
he
it.
was Ned.
Yes, and it's so weird playing it now, and I'm just like, hold on. Hold on. This
Yeah.
Ned?
The man, the
What are
myth,
you
the
doing
legend.
here? The man, the
Scott
myth,
Carty.
the legend.
So you talk to Charlie, and he kind of is like, "Oh yeah, I'm the handyman, and I'm helping out with the work that has to be done on the house, and just trying to do my best or whatever." And so you talk to that, talk to him a little bit. You can kind of look around. I don't think there's anything super noteworthy in here. There's like some old books and articles that are
Yeah,
kind of
it's a cool little
interesting.
saloon place.
Yeah, the little
I know
saloon is cool.
the piano should be tuned.
Yeah,
Um,
piano is
yeah.
kind of whack. I
They've got
think
a lot of cool
they're
articles about like Lizzie Applegate and stuff. It's pretty cool.
yeah. And then I think we've met everybody except for the last person. So you go back upstairs and then into the parlor room. There's a parlor room, and this is where the phone is, so you can phone your friends. And there's like a few other things here. There's a fire extinguisher in the corner. Nancy says, "It's good to
That'll
know
come
it's
in
here."
handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, gee, I
It's good to
wonder.
know it's
Wonder
here.
if we will use it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this room has the only haunt that ever got me in the games
Which one is it? There's a
because
couple in this room.
it's the swan, the wooden swan
Oh.
on like that one, like I would see it out of the corner of my eyes, and then I would look away for a second, and then look at back, and it's not moving, and I am being gaslit by a wooden bird that I am going insane.
Have you
Like
ever
it's like,
seen...
no, you're not seeing, it's not moving. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that one spooked me. And also the one where you can walk toward the chair and you see the chair cushion, like, it's almost like somebody gets up from the chair cushion, like it expands. Have you seen that one before?
Yes, now that you mention it.
Yeah, that one always creeped me out too, for sure. So a few different spooky things kind of happen in the parlor. Um, it always made me feel like something like really like scary was going to happen in here because you're only ever in here alone, you know?
I mean,
Okay, true, but
yeah.
yeah. We'll get there, we'll get there, we'll get there.
Get there when we get there.
So then the next room off the parlor is like the library slash study. And if you go through there, there's the last guy, and his name is Lewis. And he's an older guy who likes to talk down to Nancy because he thinks he's fancier than her.
I
And
mean, he probably is, but
and he has eyes like Yuri the cat from
oh my
Secret of
god!
the Old Clock. Or maybe Yuri the
Oh
cat
my
has
God.
Lewis Chandler eyes. I don't know.
Wait, okay. Am I imagining this? Like, is this just something I made up in my brain, or did somebody actually made it? Do you know those Insta baddie edits
Maybe?
where they give the characters like photoshopped eyelashes, earrings, and nails?
Okay, yeah, I've seen
Like
those.
I'm thinking that, but it's Lewis, and I cannot
Ugh.
think. I can't think. Is that something that actually happened, or is that just
Well, Nancy Drew
like
Tumblr is a thing.
it is? And I'm trying to
So-
remember if it happened or not.
I feel like if it would have happened anywhere, it would have been there.
I don't know. The Instagram community on
That's true.
The Instagram and Clue Crew also gets wild. I
Yeah,
should know.
it can be a little
We are both
scary
there,
there too. I mean that in the best way, by the way. I'm not dunking on anything.
Yeah, no.
Just
You're
sometimes
one
I
of us,
open
okay.
sometimes I open my Instagram and I get jump scared by somebody in the Clue Crew. That's all I'm saying.
Sometimes it's me.
So, so you talk to
Sorry
Lewis.
about yeah.
Yeah, and
We talked to Lewis. We don't like him.
we don't like him. He tells us that he is
Nah.
like an antique dealer and he knows everything about everything because he's smarter than us. And yeah, he just kind of talks like that. And then he's like, Rose would crash and burn if it wasn't for me kind of attitude. And I just don't like that,
Yeah.
So then we've met everybody. So that's kind of the important thing to do. Like at this beginning is just kind of meet everybody, learn your way around. When you go back into the entry, you can find a paint scraper, which is good. And we'll need that to do what Rose asked us to do, which is just to scrape the tiles. So then if you go upstairs and you talk to Abby again, she will say that the spirits are ready to talk to you or whatever, and meet me downstairs if you dare, or whatever she says. I don't know. She says something kind of spooky. And so then it cuts to the seance scene. And I have a lot to say about this.
I love
It's
one of my
iconic.
favorite quotes ever.
Mm-hmm. So, Abby does her little thing. She's like, here tonight, the spirits will speak. The ghost of Valdez, or whatever. And then there's like a voice, and it's like, who has called me from the great beyond? And then Rose is like, oh, what the heck? And then the voice says something like, "My wife, where can she be?" And then you see like a ghostly figure in the saloon mirror. You're like, "Whoa! What the heck is that?" And
I
then
can't stop quoting, "My wife, where could she be?" It's just so funny to
it
me.
is so funny.
Like, it's camp. It is iconic. I love it.
And then I can't remember what happens next, but I know that finally Abby goes, "The spirits have spoken. The seance is over." And then Rose is like, "All right, well, I'm going to bed." And
Same girl.
She gets up and leaves. And then, like, that's it. That's, like, the whole seance. And so you end up back in your room. And then if you leave your room, I think it's around this time that you hear, like, moaning, like, ghostly moaning in the
Yeah.
hallway. Weird stuff happens sometimes when you leave your room, and I think this is when that starts. But anyway, so the seance happened. Now it's kind of like late at night or whatever, so everybody's either gone or asleep, and you can snoop if you want. Oh, you can also use your paint scraper to, I guess, knock the the post knob off your bed. I don't know, but you can do it. It works. And what do you find there? A key. Make it make sense.
I don't know. It's Nancy Drew game. It doesn't really have to make sense. It just has to have the vibes.
Okay, well this game does have lots of vibes, so I guess
It
it's
has
winning.
great vibes.
It's winning in the vibes. So now we're like, okay, well I guess we might as well start doing what Rose asked us to do. So you can climb the ladder and you can scrape the ceiling tiles and you find a door to an attic. And thankfully, oh, wait, no, this isn't that. I don't think that's the key. I think the key you get from your bed is not the key that you need for the attic. So you need to go find the key for the attic. So if you snoop around a bit, everybody's gone because it's late at night. So you go down to the basement and Charlie is gone. And you can look around in like the tool chest. And I think you can take a screwdriver or something. Yeah, a screwdriver from there. And then you can snoop around like the cash register, the old cash register, and there's another key in there. And then, you can also look underneath the seance table, and there's some sound equipment. And so it was all for fakes, as we obviously guessed, but it was all a big ruse. And there, you can also take the tape, like the sound tape. And then if you look at the piano bench, I believe there is music in there. The Swanee River, maybe. And the Chinese kanji for river is there too. So that's good to know. And then we have the key, so we're gonna go back up to the attic, and we can unlock the attic door, and we can walk up there. And there's lots of weird things. Okay, do you know the Easter egg thing? In the attic? Okay.
No.
Okay, so you know how there is a like a little toolbox or something, and it has like an iron in it or something like that, like the iron you use to fix the dumbwaiter. So if you open and close that toolbox like 10 times or something like that, the 10th time that you open it, there is what looks to be the head of Maddie Jensen from Stay Tuned for Danger, and it just and the head just goes or like makes a weird noise.
What?
I'm not kidding.
Oh my god!
I'm not kidding. Hang on, I'm gonna find you a link real quick.
Yeah, I instantly got out Google and I'm just like, okay, message.
And I've done this myself, so I know it's real.
Easter eggs, oh my god.
Hang on, I gotta find it.
Message in a Haunted Mansion. Message in a Haunted Mansion, not the Haunted Mansion movie. Message in a Haunted Mansion. Okay. Okay.
Okay, hang on. I think I found it.
Yeah, it says... this one says, get ready for a surprise, but it doesn't say anything about it.
Okay, hang on. I'm sending this to you. It happens at 1:17 in this video that I just sent to you.
Okay, 1:17. Oh my god.
1:17.
I need to...
Yeah, I just need you to see it so that we can keep talking about it.
Okay, 1:17. There we go. Okay. What?
Do you see it? You good?
No.
Did you get scared?
That,
Doesn't it look like
why?
Maddie Jensen with a ponytail?
Yeah, what? Well,
I don't know the purpose behind that.
Kind of also looks like Abby a little bit.
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of like a model, like a character model.
Yeah, it's. But the sound.
It's like or whatever.
Like. That is truly something. That is something to go on a Nancy Drew iceberg.
Yeah, so
I really hope it's on there.
If somebody listening didn't know that, now you know that's a thing.
Now, yes. Now I have been cursed by it. Cursed by this
sorry. So anyway, we're in the attic. There's a lot of things to look at in here. There's a diary written by somebody that calls themselves E. Valdez. We don't really know who that is yet, but it's important. There is a tile, like a ceramic tile or something. The iron, which I mentioned a minute ago, which will be used to fix the dumbwaiter when Rose asks you to do that. There's also a crowbar in here. The key you got from your bedpost opens the little desk in here. And then you can... Hang on, make sure I don't miss anything. I have a walkthrough pulled up just to make sure I don't forget talking about anything, but... okay, yeah, so there's music and lyrics for a song called The Bandit's Treasure. And if you look at it closely, there are some notes that are, highlighted. And those are important to remember. And if you remember the notes, which they're B-E-G-A-G, you can go down and play them on the piano in the basement. So we'll go back and do that in a bit. There's also a paper in here that has the Chinese character for beginning, which is important. And then I think that's everything in the attic for now. As you try to leave, though, the rope snaps, which is why the crowbar comes in handy. And I guess Nancy just carries a crowbar around for the rest of the game.
It's not the weirdest thing she's carried around, but it's...
But I wonder if it's in her hand or if it's just, hanging out of her pocket.
She has one of those... She has those, carpenter pants that have, the hammer thing in them, but she puts the crowbar in there.
Yeah. That would make some sense, I guess.
Usually she puts her magnifying glass in there, but this time we've got the crowbar.
Nice. Which I don't know. I think if I was a suspect in a mystery and the person snooping around trying to find answers had a crowbar hanging from their pants, I kind of feel like that would be spooky. Or maybe, I don't know.
Maybe it would be really funny if she just had the crowbar in her hands at all times.
Yeah, and then she's
she goes over to Rose, hey, I need a job, and she's holding a crowbar.
Yeah.
Or at the part where she gets info from Charlie and she's holding the crowbar, intimidating him.
Yeah, that's fair.
She is unhinged. I love Nancy.
Yeah, me too. Then I think if you go to the dining room, Rose is probably still gone at this point. You can kind of snoop through the papers she's been looking at.
Snooping.
And then I don't really think there's anything else that you can do until you talk to people. So if it's still in the middle of the night, I would recommend going to sleep. This is one of the Nancy games where you can kind of control what time it is by going to Nancy's room and setting the alarm and moving time. Excuse me. Oh, I yawned. My bad. So
We are all yawning here.
yeah. So next time you can talk to everybody, you can go tell Rose that you scraped those tiles, and she'll be like, "Okay, can you fix the dumbwaiter?" And she'll probably move her head toward her shoulder a few times. And then I think you can also talk to all the characters about each other, which is important. I think that kind of like opens up things to ask about. So you should always ask people about other people. And if I'm not misremembering this, when you ask Rose about Lewis, she basically kind of admits that she likes him. Like likes him. It's like the suggestion, I feel
Oh,
like.
I thought that was only a thing in the books.
Oh, maybe it's the book
So
I'm thinking about, because I've read that
I know
too.
in the book he gets roses for Rose, but
That's right.
which
That's
I
right.
think is cursed because it's Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I think you're maybe right. I have read the book as well, so I think that's why I'm like
Yeah.
getting a little confused. But you can take the iron and you tie it to the broken rope of the dumbwaiter, which how does that really fix it? I don't really know.
Physics. I don't know.
Because then how will it go back up again? I don't know.
Pure willpower.
I guess. And then so you're like, "Oh, okay, well, now you can open the dumbwaiter upstairs and see what's in there, and there's like a cup and another tile. I think there's another Chinese kanji in here. I don't remember which one. But there's that.
Yeah.
Then I think at some point, probably around this time, I think you have to call Emily. I think you have to call Emily twice in this game. Emily Foxworth is a character that only ever appears in this game as a phone character, and they kind of make it feel like she's supposed to be like more important to the series than she ends up being. I don't know. I kind of wish Emily would come back. She's an interesting phone character, and I feel like it would be cool to include her in another like mystery somehow. I mean, they can tie in ways to make Professor Hotchkiss a phone character multiple other times. I feel like since Emily is like a journalist and she has like a lot of knowledge about certain things, they could find a way to tie that in. I don't know. I just kind of feel like she'd be cool to bring back as phone character, but also Hannah Gruen.
Yeah.
Bring her
I
back.
think. Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Isn't she like just an answering machine voice for the rest of the series?
Yeah, and then you do get emails from her in, I think, Danger on Deception Island. Because she tells you about Daddy Drew's day off, but that will be another conversation.
That will be another conversation for another episode.
Yeah.
And it will be funny.
But yeah, they need to bring Hannah back. She'd be such an easy character to bring back. But anyway, so I you should call Emily and talk to her about some of the things that are going on, and I think she gives you some information. I think you go back into the parlor and you should start looking around like the boxes and books. You can find another tile, which I think that's all three. And above the fireplace in the library, there's 3 tiles missing. So you can slap those tiles in, and then it loosens the little bird, like the little metal bird by the fireplace, and you can pull that. And when you pull that, it opens a secret room behind the bookcase. And we love secret rooms and hidden things in Nancy Drew games. So if you go in there, there's like a loose brick that you can pull, and it's behind the eyeballs of a painting. And you can look in there, and you can spy on Lewis as he's walking around. And I think you can also pick up a lantern in here. And I don't think there's anything else in here. But then you can leave by pulling the lever. I think you
Then
can. What else? What else can we do around here? I know now that you have the screwdriver, I know you can go open the vent in the upstairs hallway right by Abby's room, and you can find a speaker. So like all the weird
ooh, ooh,
like ghost noises and like crying that you
yeah.
can hear, you figure out that it's coming from the speaker. And then if you go to Abby's room when she's out, you can sneak around in there. Um, she has like a spider ring in her jewelry box, which opens her armoire. And when you
Which
open
is
it up,
such
there's
a
a
vibe.
yeah. She has a
My
really cool room, by
sister,
the way.
my sister would love Abby's room, and yeah, the vibes, man,
The
just
vibes are
so vibey.
the vibes are very vibey. So,
But
yeah, she
yeah,
has a lot of
they're
cool
vibing.
like lunar stuff, like moons and stars and that kind of vibe. It's very nice. So, um, but when you open her armoire, there is recording equipment, and you can play
Ooh.
the tape you found downstairs, and it confirms that Abby faked the whole ghost thing. Dang it. Um, You can also move the picture on her wall and see a two-way mirror. So she's been spying on people walking through the hallway, which, okay, but weird. Um,
Yeah.
I think she also has a zodiac book in her room, which lists all of the Chinese zodiac animals in order. The rat, the ox, the tiger,
Yeah.
rabbit, dragon. We're in the year of the dragon now. It's 2024. It's the year of the
Ooh.
dragon, if you
Ooh.
didn't know that.
That's
Last year was
that
year of the
makes me
rabbit.
happy.
Yep. Last year was Year of the Rabbit. This year is Year of the Dragon. Go watch How to Train Your Dragon in celebration.
Yes. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and then I think after the dragon, it's snake. Hang on, I have the list here. Snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, bear. So those are the 12. So that will come in handy later. Then another place you should snoop is back in the basement after Charlie's gone. And now that we have a crowbar, you can open the grate in the basement fireplace. Because you have the lantern now, too. So if you try to go... Have you ever tried to go into the grate without the lantern?
Yes.
Yeah. And
It
you
was not a good
fall...
experience.
Yeah, you fall through a hole to your death, which I find really hilarious. I don't know. Something about
Yeah.
it's very funny to
Like
me.
how deep is that hole? Like where is the hole going? Why is there such a deep hole there?
Yeah, like it's
Like
probably concerning that the foundation of the house has a deep
yeah.
hole in it like that. Like, that could be a big issue. I don't know. I'm not in construction or
Yeah.
nothing, but
That's just a lot of yeah. But you know
it's
who
a
is
it is a
kind
lot
of
of
in construction?
yeah,
Charlie. And
Charlie.
guess what's going on?
So if you go toward the back of this little tunnel, you find a room that's behind the big mirror of the saloon, and it's a two-way mirror as well. And you can look through and see out into the saloon, and you
There's so
realize that
many two-way
somebody has
mirrors.
been living down here. It's you
Yeah.
see a term paper diskette, like there's like a floppy disk, and it says it says like term paper on it. There's a history book down here. There's like takeout containers, and you're like, what the heck? This is Charlie's stuff. Why is
Mhm.
Charlie living in this tiny room? That's
He's
weird.
living in the walls.
Literally, there's a man in the walls. Um,
I'm just thinking of ah, I don't want to spoil this movie for anybody, but the movie that I am thinking about, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but if you know, you know. If you know, you know. It's a very good movie. I will only ever watch it once because it did traumatize me, but this is the PG version of that movie.
okay,
This
that's fair.
thing. Like, thank you, Charlie, for living in the walls and not make want to scream and cry.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have been much worse.
It could
Um,
have been much worse, but it's just a random dude eating Chinese takeout.
mhm. So I think if I remember right, you can tell people about Charlie or you can keep it secret.
Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite quotes. How did you find Charlie? Like, the way
Oh
she
yeah.
says it.
And he just showed up one day or
Yeah.
whatever. So
But doesn't she also ask him, like, where do you live, Charlie? Like, and he's like,
I
oh,
think
I'm
he
staying
says
with
I'm
some
in
friends.
between places.
Yeah, and he's sure in between certain places, though, like, in between a few walls. But, like, the fact that Nancy just asks him, like, where do you live?
Yeah. I think that's pretty funny. Um
I don't know, Nancy is just, yeah, she's Nancy.
she's Nancy. So that whole plot point is a thing, which makes Charlie suspicious. And then when we spied on Lewis, we saw him put something into his briefcase. So if you swing on back to the library and Lewis is gone, your goal is to see what is in his briefcase. So we don't know the combination, but we're going to try to find it. So if you go into the computer, you can do your little maze game, which comes back at later points in the series, but you do your little maze game, and once you find your way through the maze, it opens up the laptop for you.
I
You
still
can
am like, what kind of security is that though? Like, what kind of cybersecurity expert is like, you know what the best password for your computer would be? A freaking maze puzzle.
yeah, I
Like,
don't know. I don't know, man. But it is kind of fun.
it is. It is. It's just bonkers.
It is very bonkers. So you can put in the little floppy disk that you found and confirm that the term paper was written by Lewis, or not Lewis, Charlie. Um, so you're like, okay, that's definitely Charlie's thing. You can also look through some of the files and you can find out that like the mansion used to be called the Golden Gardenia Hotel, and oh, and you can look at all of Lewis's passwords and find the combination to the briefcase. So then you go back over to the
Yeah.
briefcase and you put in the password, and there's a book, and it says that the Golden Gardenia was called Gumbo Foo. Um, and then, oh, have you also read, do you know the Easter egg in this, in the briefcase?
Isn't there like Rick Arlen in there or something?
Yeah. There's a note that talks about Rick Arlen and Nancy. About how like Nancy solved his mystery or like helped him or whatever. So it's obvious that Lewis like knows who you are. I think that's supposed to be the suggestion. Isn't that creepy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're like, what the heck is Gumbo Foo?
Oh my gosh, and it has like one of my favorite dialogue things with this one. Because like
Mhm.
in this one, after this, you can go around asking people what gumbo foo means, and my favorite response is Abby, because everybody's like, I don't know. Then you ask Abby, and she's like, gumbo foo, I love gumbo.
What kind of gumbo is Gumbo
Like,
Foo?
I'm like, same girl. I also love gumbo. I'm also hungry. Like,
Yep.
same.
When you ask Lewis about Gumbo Foo, he goes, "Where did you hear that?" And if you say, "I read it in a book," he kills you.
Like, I know it's just like only like a second chance thing, but I always interpret it as spot.
Yeah. He's like, "No doubt the book in my briefcase," and then you get noped.
Yeah, you're gone.
Lights out Nancy.
It's just the funniest second chance choice ever, because it's
Yeah.
like,
So you have to lie and say you
we're-
read it in a magazine.
I'm sorry, it's just the funniest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the only person who can give you any information about Gumbo Foo is our friend Emily. So
Yeah.
you call Emily.
The only. Emily.
I said that wrong.
The only useful person in the game.
Yeah. So Emily tells you about the gumbo foo, and she tells you that it means like
Isn't like
gold
House of
treasure,
Gold?
house
Yeah,
of gold
House of Gold
treasure or
or
something.
something. Yeah.
So you're like, "Oh, interesting. Okay, good information." You can also around this time you should play the notes from the song on the piano. And when you
Oh yeah, yeah,
play it, the piano roll panel thing opens because it's like a player piano too. And you
yeah.
can take a
Oh yeah.
piece of the roll um, that whoever E is like talked about in her note or whatever. And then
Mhm.
if you take this little piece of the roll and you go back up to the attic and you put it on the bandit's treasure, it like spells a message, and the message says find Diego on stairs. So you're like, okay, let's go to the stairs. So if you go to the stairs, there's these like carved letters on the spindles of the stairs that you can spin around. So you kind of have to spin them to spell the word Diego, because that's how you find Diego on the stairs.
Mhm.
And then there's another note and like a gold kanji, like Chinese kanji. Um, it's like I don't know, it's like a key piece or whatever.
I think kanji's Japanese. Let me. Yeah.
Hanzi,
Okay.
maybe that's what I'm meaning
Kanji.
to say.
Yeah, probably. Oh, kanji is also. Wait, it's okay. Logographic Chinese characters taken from the Chinese script used in writing in Japanese. So it's Japanese.
Okay. It's
It's
Japanese writing
Chinese
that's adapted from
for.
Chinese characters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then
My
Han.
bad, guys. I've been saying this wrong this whole time. So Hanzi.
Hanzi. Yeah, Chinese. Yeah. It would be Hanzi. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, my bad. I've been speaking incorrectly this whole time. My bad.
Nah, we good.
Hanzi. So
Hanzi. Yeah,
you
there we
take
go.
take the Hanzi symbol key thing. Um, then if you go to your room, you turn around and there's a note that's pushed under your door, and it says,
Leave the mansion now.
yeah, in big
So
like
dramatic.
scribbly letters, and you're like, oh no, I
And
am
like,
in danger.
isn't there like some like footsteps running away after it slid under the door?
Yes, you hear the like
Yeah,
footsteps run
and
away.
like,
Why would Nancy not just open
man,
the door?
yeah, like why didn't you just open the door and find out who's threatening you? Like
Literally.
they just run, like just go out there, run, chase them down. They could not have gotten far. Just look at anybody in the mansion who's
It's so
panting
silly.
and from running. Like, just why not just look, Nancy? Just please
Mm-hmm.
make a smart decision, please. I
Yep.
love you, Nancy, but
She's so
yeah,
slow sometimes.
she is, and I love her for it because she's an icon.
Yeah. Then if you go back downstairs to the parlor's on fire.
Yeah.
So you have to grab
Gee.
the fire extinguisher, which it's good to know it's here because now you
Yeah.
gotta use it. And you gotta put out the fire. And Rose, then it like cuts to a conversation with Rose, and Rose is like, oh my gosh, maybe I should just give up on this whole thing, and like it's so frustrating, and like how'd this happen? And it's obviously Charlie's fault because I told him to put a screen there and there's no screen. And then you find out that like Lewis told Charlie it wasn't the right kind of screen, so Lewis took the screen away. That sort of thing. And you're like, that's kind of suspicious. Um, yeah, and so then you go back and you look at what burned in the fire, and it's like old records of the house, and like old like floor plans, and just information about, I guess, that was trying to be hidden. Whoever the culprit is was trying to hide this information.
Ooh.
So I think at some point around here you can overhear Abby and Rose having an argument. I can't remember if that's out, like if you're approaching the dining room to talk to Rose and you can hear them arguing and you just like don't go in there or whatever. But I think
Yeah.
they're having an argument. So you can turn around and go talk to Charlie, and he's like, no, like, I bought the screen, and Lewis told me it was the wrong one, so he took it away. And I think you can also ask him about him living in the walls. And I think he's kind of like, oh my God, please don't tell anybody. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I just need some place to be. Like, he starts to panic. And that's why I think, if I'm remembering right, you can expose him if you want to.
I've never exposed him because uh I actually don't know why. There's
Okay.
certain characters I do expose, and I don't want to say them because then I'll spoil them for a
Yeah.
future episode, but I always take pity on Charlie because he has the most loser boy eyes. Like, look at him.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I like Charlie, and I feel really bad for him, so I don't expose him because
Also,
times are
he's
tough.
a college student,
Mm-hmm.
and college students already have it bad enough as it is.
Mm-hmm. So then if you go back upstairs, you can go talk to Rose. She's done arguing with Abby, and she tells you that everybody is going to the winter festival and you were not invited.
I know! It's so mean! It's so
She's like, we're all going to
mean!
have a lot of fun and you're going to be here by yourself. And you're like, oh,
Yeah! It's
okay.
like
Uh,
even Charlie's going, like literally.
yeah.
And ah,
And she also
like at
tells you
least
that she took the tapestry down in your room to go get it cleaned. And a messenger dropped off a letter for you. So lots of things to follow up on. So you go up to your room. You have the letter from Emily. I think this is the letter where she explains about the gumbo foo. Um,
yeah.
and she also writes the Hanzi symbol for gold, I think, in this letter.
Yeah.
Um, and then if you go where the tapestry was, you'll see that there is now like a safe or like spin lock, and it has all of those Hanzi symbols that you've been collecting. Oh wait, no, I think before that it's the zodiac puzzle. So it's all the animals.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so you have to click on the animals in order of the zodiac. So if you do that, boo 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 boo, you do all 12. Then you see like a safe with a spin lock, and it's got the Hanzi symbols, and you have to put them in the order of the poem. So, listen, my childhood story of dreams, blah 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 blah. So you do that, it opens up. Um, then you have some like weird things in the box. So there's some papers and it's information, and you learn that the E. Valdez was Lizzie Applegate, who was a famous actress, I guess, at the time, and she fell in love with Diego Valdez and they got married. But he was like an outlaw, and but they just had like a whirlwind romance, and it's very like it feels kind of like a precursor to like the Dirk
Hmm.
Valentine Francis Humber thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say a bit less tragic.
Yeah, a little less tragic. Although Diego does die, and Lizzie talks about, or he leaves, and she says something about like
Yeah.
when she in her will she's like, divvying up all of her assets, and she says, everything will go to my husband Diego, but if he cannot be found within a year, then do this with it or whatever.
Hmm.
So it's obvious that he like had to go away, and that they were not in contact, which is pretty sad. I mean, if you love somebody
Yeah.
enough to marry them, then to not know where they are is kind of sad. Um, but then there's also a like pyramid box, and it's got some puzzles on the sides. So the first thing you should do though is use the like golden Hanzi key thing that you found, and you can push that into the side, and it leads to another puzzle.
Hmm.
And in the poem it says you have to change like night to day or whatever, so you have to change all the moons to suns by flipping them over. And this is a little bit tricky. It's much more difficult on senior.
Yeah.
But you have to flip all the moons over till they're suns. And then once you do that, it flips around to the last side, which is a slider puzzle. How are you at slider puzzles?
I love them.
I am really bad at them. They make my
I love
brains hurt.
them. They're so much fun.
I think they're fun, but I always feel really stupid when I'm doing one.
Oh.
Um, and then when I finally
Yeah.
get it, I feel really satisfied. But
Yeah, I just think they're very like, ooh, and this spot goes here, and then we slide, we go in a circle, we go to another circle, we go in another circle. And I don't know why. It's fun to me.
that's fair.
It's one of those silly little things. Me and my silly slider puzzles.
No, it's fine. You can like your silly slider puzzles. I don't want to say I dislike them. I just think I'm not very good at them. But
Yeah, I get that.
so you do the slider puzzle and it's a phoenix and once you finish that, it opens up the little pyramid and you have a red jewel. And you're like, I wonder where this goes. And then you link back to the poem where it says when the eye of the phoenix is in your hand. And when the moon sleeps and the sun plays, so it has to be during the day. And if you have been paying attention, every time you go down the main staircase at the bottom, there's phoenix heads on the posts, and one of them is missing an eye. So if you are like, okay, cool, then I'm going to go down there during the daytime, and I'm going to put the jewel into the missing eye. Then the sunlight, I guess, catches said jewel and all of the... I don't know. I don't understand the science behind this, but
We
then,
don't need to.
light
This is another
beams
last
come
train to
from the
Midland Canyon.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they shoot down at the panel, the Firebird floor panel thing. And you're like, okay, X marks the spot, I guess. And you use the crowbar to tear up the boards, and there is treasure. And then you get smacked in the head by the culprit. Who's the culprit?
It's da-da-da-da.
It's Lewis. It's Lewis.
I hate him.
And he, with his arrogant little self, knocks you out. And he's shoving the gold into his bag as soon as you wake up. And you have to go stop him. How will you stop him?
Can I say this real quick, though?
Yeah.
Like, why did Her Interactive have to give Lewis Chandler, of all people, the juiciest booty in San Francisco? Like, why is he sitting like that?
Oh my
God. Why is he sitting like that?
I don't like it.
Like, why?
I don't like that. Why'd you say that? I don't like it.
Listen, when Her Interactive animates a butt, they go full out, okay? We've got Yanni, we've got Monique. For some reason, we have Lewis. And
Is
it's
Lewis
just
in your quiz?
one scene. Oh my gosh. I think he's in the Instagram reel version that I did.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me find it. Okay.
In case y'all don't know,
I have to wait.
Rae has made a quiz. It's very popular on the internet.
I didn't put it in there. Oh no. I might have to update it.
And in Rae's quiz, you take it and it tells you which booty in the Nancy Drew series you are. If you haven't taken
very
it,
mature.
It's a rite of passage, I believe, in the Nancy Drew online community.
Great.
If you have not taken it, you need to do that. It's very funny. Okay, so anyway, Lewis is putting the gold in his bag.
He's doing it with pizzazz, I guess.
With pizzazz. And you have to stop him. So what you're going to do is you're going to drop a chandelier on his head, because that'll show him for hitting you over the head.
But you have to, like, go up on the side of the stairs that is squeaky.
Yeah.
Because if you do, he'll see you and he'll be like, I'm getting out of here, Nancy. Bye-bye.
And then he'll run
But
away.
if you don't, yeah.
So, how do we feel about dropping a chandelier on a man?
I think it's funny.
Me too.
And
I've heard
and
some
it's
people be
deserved.
like, I think it's too harsh. He could have
No,
died.
it's funny.
And
He's
I'm like,
fine.
I don't know.
He's fine.
He seemed fine trying to kill us. So
Oh, I think Nancy, after being almost killed so many times, deserves, in my opinion, a little bit of attempted murder. You know what I mean? Like, every other weekend she has somebody trying to kill her.
uh-huh.
Might as well have some fun of her own.
Uh
Like, I think she deserves a little murder as a treat. Like
as a treat. Just
as
a
a
little
treat.
treat.
It's a little treat. Yeah.
So anyway, that's the mystery. We did it.
Yay!
We did it.
But
So,
yes, and
do you have any other thoughts on the plot or mystery before we talk a little more about characters?
they were so mean to Nancy. Like,
The
they're
characters are
literally
mean?
just like, yeah, because they're like, we're all going to the festival
Yeah.
together, but not you.
Do you want to
Bye
have
bye,
fun? Too
Nancy.
bad.
Ah, it's so sad because, like, if I would want to take Nancy with me. Like, yes, she is a piece of work, but she's fun to be around unless you have dead family members.
Yeah.
And then she's not. But in this game, she hasn't asked anybody about their dead relative. So,
Yeah.
like, she's asked people where they live, knowing they're homeless. Um, but that's another issue. But, like, what has Nancy done to Rose other than strenuous manual labor
Yeah.
to deserve not going to the festival with everyone?
I
Like,
know. I don't know. Like, I feel
seriously.
like if you're going to have, like, a guest in your home, even if that guest is there to help you with something, if you were planning something fun, would you not offer to include them in the fun? I feel like it'd be like if you had,
Exactly.
it's like if you had friends over for, like, for movie night, and you,
Mm-hmm.
like, are in the kitchen and you're cooking, and you're like, oh no, this is just for me.
Like, no! Like,
Yeah,
girl,
you're like,
share
no, that's rude. Like, you have people in
yummy.
your house, like, you should offer them food as well. Like, it's just the thing you should do.
Ah,
And they can say no, and that's fine. But they should at least have the invite, you know?
exactly.
Do you have a favorite
Anyway,
character?
Abby.
Okay. She's pretty fun. I think Charlie is my favorite.
Do you
He's
want to
just doing
guess
his
who my
best.
least favorite is?
My least favorite is Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all hate Lewis.
Are there any
But
Lewis
he is
stands out
funny
there?
though.
Lewis stands. I'm talking to you for a minute. Why?
I-
Just answer my
oh.
question, and we will have a nice debate.
Yes, because I'm thinking like, what are the pros of being a Lewis Stan? I mean, one, he's boring. Two, he's boring.
Mm-hmm.
Three, he's evil. Four, he kills you if you say you read a book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The only pro is that he has a nice booty for one scene, and that is it. Like,
Okay.
are we really like?
I don't even think that redeems him, honestly.
It doesn't. No, because he kills you if you say you read a book. Like, why? What is that? Like,
Yeah.
okay, don't go to the library then, Lewis. They would hate you there. Like, oh no, people read books.
Yeah.
There's this one Tumblr post. Let me find it because there's this one really funny Tumblr post. Let me. Okay, it's like I got up my message at Haunted Mansion and stuff. Let me find it because there's this really really fun one. Okay, Tumblr user Nancy the Drew posted. Imagine you add a book to your Goodreads read list. You give it 3 stars. Lewis Chandler immediately murders you because he too read the same book. Oh, it's
No
It's so
doubt the book in my
funny.
briefcase.
Yeah.
It's just so nonsensical. That part is so nonsensical to me.
It's so funny. It is so funny. I love it. Like, there is no logic to it, but I love it anyway. Like, it's
Yeah.
dumb. It's funny. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Okay,
Rose
well,
is also boring. Charlie's fine.
Charlie's
But
fine.
Lewis is just. I hate him.
Rose is okay. I get a little frustrated with Rose because I feel like she only ever cares to listen to Lewis and doesn't care to listen to anybody else.
Blah.
And that just gets really frustrating for me.
Yeah, it
So it's like I
is.
don't dislike her, but I'm just kind of like, "Lady."
Just listen, please.
Mhm.
Ah. All right. Well,
Music?
we've got. Yeah, I was gonna like let's move on because if we keep talking about the characters, it's gonna go back into how much I hate Lou.
That's fair.
Um, I don't hate him as much as Lisa though, so we've got that. But anyway, music. The music slaps.
Music slaps. Um
Little do 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 do. I love it.
I
It's a classic.
I cannot remember which track it is. Or maybe it was the whole soundtrack. I don't remember. When I talked to Kevin Manthe a few years back, um, I told him, or we asked him like to tell us a fun fact. And I can't remember if he told me that it was one of the tracks in Message on Haunted Mansion, or maybe it was the whole soundtrack in Message on Haunted Mansion. But he did the whole thing in like one sitting.
Oh,
And I was
dang.
like, what? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, there's no way. And he was like, yeah, for real though. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, wow. Because I can't imagine. I don't know. I'm not a composer. I have a appreciation
Hyperfixations.
for music. I'm not a composer, but I can't imagine being able to like just sit down and just crank this out and be
Yeah, when
done.
you get into that mode, when you get into that productive mode, it's yeah, but this
One
one
sitting?
a banger.
Crazy.
So good.
So
I
good.
also I also love the part where it's like do 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 do. It's just
Mhm.
so spooky. I love it. It is a vibe. And while it's not my favorite soundtrack, like it's got the vibes. It has got the vibes. It is spooky, it is haunted. It is very 2000 in a good way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I think it's a soundtrack that is very recognizable, but I think some of the individual tracks feel very similar to each other. Um,
Yeah, they do kind of run together, but I feel like that kind of like enhances the
mm,
experience, you know what I mean? Like it
mm-hmm.
just it fits the environment.
It does fit the environment and the mystery very well, I think.
Yeah. So next I want to talk about is puzzles, and there are some great puzzles here, and then there are some puzzles where why can't I put the tiles, why can't they go in the right places? Like
I
why
know.
the tiles? Like ah.
I am of
Anyway,
the opinion
yeah.
that there are not enough puzzles in this game.
There aren't. Cuz like I'm trying to think and there's not that many.
There's like, I mean,
I
I don't
mean,
know if I would
there's
count scraping tiles on a ceiling as a puzzle.
that's manual labor.
Yeah, that's a task. That's not a puzzle.
Yeah.
For
The only
puzzles,
thing I'm
there's
thinking right now is, I mean, there's more than Midnight in Salem, but like,
yeah,
there's like two puzzles in that.
but there's the inlay puzzle. There is
The stairs.
stairs. There's the puzzles in Nancy's room. So the
Hmm.
zodiac, the tapestry poem, the slider, the
Would you count the?
moon flippy.
Yeah. Would you count the piano as a puzzle, or would that
Yeah,
just
I
be
think
the?
I would. I think I
Yeah.
would count the piano as a puzzle. It's
Yeah,
kind
and
of a
then
vague puzzle, but I think it would count.
yeah, the rest of it is just like tasks and well, one mini game if you include
The maze.
the maze. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
But other than that, yeah, there's not a lot. But the puzzles, I like the turny letter puzzles where you have to turn them in a certain order. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love those. I like the slider
Yeah.
puzzles. I just think that while there aren't a lot of puzzles, the ones they do in this game they're pretty fun. I like them. I enjoy them.
Yeah. I like the I'm of the same opinion. Like I like the puzzles that are present, but I think that overall this game is kind of weak on puzzles.
Yeah.
So,
We're
yeah.
probably gonna have to do a ranking someday of like which games have the best puzzles.
Oh yeah. Oh, I already know what's going to be at the top for me though.
Labyrinth of Lies.
No. But that's high up
Oops.
there.
Yeah. Curse of Blackmore Manor.
No, but again high up there.
Shadow Water's Edge.
Yes.
Yeah!
Yeah.
That's gonna be a fun episode when we eventually do.
Oh my gosh. I
That's gonna
think
be a
that's
very
like
fun one.
that's like both of our like that's in our top like 3 for
Yeah.
both of us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Okay,
But
so
anyway, next
atmosphere
is
and setting.
atmosphere and setting. Ooh, okay. I must say, vibes, they're off the charts. Spooky, I love the Victorian mansions. I love the spookiness. I love the Chinese room. I love everything except the scaffolding and having to scrape things. Like I will detract points for having to scrape stuff off the ceiling. But other than and the weird hole in the floor under the house, like why the whole
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know what's going on with that, but everything else, like the painting, the portrait with the eyes in it, like
Mhm.
oh, it's so spooky. Abby's entire room is just a vibe. Like I love it. I love it. The vibes, the energy, it's just so cool. I love it.
I think
But
that
yeah.
I don't love it as much as you do. Um I don't I'm sorry. I don't dislike it. I This game did spook me a lot when I was younger. It was one that I considered one of the scariest games. Um until like some of the later games in the series released and kind of like dethroned Message in the Haunted Mansion in my opinion as like top 3 or
Yeah,
top 5 scariest.
it is definitely not in my top games.
Yeah.
Um yeah, but I still it like well, I will say the game when we get to overall rank, it's not going to be a very high rank, but the
Mhm.
setting and the atmosphere is still really fun for me cuz I love me some Victorian mansions. I love them.
Yeah. And I think this game had a lot of potential and I don't want to discount it too much because it was still early in the series and I
This is
think that
2000, so
they did really good with like what they had and this game
mhm.
does feel a little bit smoother than the previous two. However, I don't think it feels quite as big as like Stay Tuned for Danger did and I think that's because
Yeah.
there were multiple locations in Stay Tuned
Yeah,
for
you can only be
Danger.
in one place.
Yeah, so it
There.
feels a little smaller, but it does feel a little bit more intricate. So I do appreciate that. You can
Mhm.
tell that like they're improving at this point in the series, even though it's still really early on. But overall, I think holding up, and I know there are a lot of Message in a Haunted Mansion fans out there, and I hope that you will not flay me alive for saying this, but I
Oh
think
no.
as time goes on, this game in regards to atmosphere and setting feels a little bit stale when I revisit it. I
Yeah.
think it doesn't hold up quite as well as some other atmospheres and locations from other games. Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
again, it's
I
not a
agree.
huge negative, but I think that it does feel a little redundant like when you replay it because it is just one building and there's only like 6 or 7 rooms that you can really explore in this building that's posed to you like it's very huge.
Yeah.
Even the hallways don't feel very expansive. Like in the next game, which we've already talked about, Treasure in a Royal Tower, you are in one location with the exception of going outside a few times, but that feels so much bigger because the hallways are just so much more expansive. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so I just feel like comparatively it kind of feels, I don't know, I don't want to use the word claustrophobic because I don't think that's necessarily accurate, but I think that it just doesn't hold up for me the way that some of the other older games do in regards to like setting.
Yeah. Like I feel the same way. Yeah, because they have improved so much since this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alrighty. So,
What do we talk
overall
about
rank
next? Oh,
time.
overall ranking. Okay. You want to go first
Ooh.
this time?
Oh boy. Um so taking into consideration everything and uh I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 10, I think.
Okay. I
Are
I'm
you going
gonna
even lower?
I'm I'm gonna get so much hate.
Oh no.
I might give it
Oh,
like 3.5, 4 out of 10 for me.
ooh.
I know it's rough. I'm looking at my personal ranking list and I put it 29th,
Oof.
which is very low.
Yikes. I need to
So,
do.
yeah, mine's gonna be low. I'm gonna settle on 3.5. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the fans that have been around since the beginning, and I know that Message in a Haunted Mansion is the favorite game for a lot of people, and that's fine. And I'm happy for you. It's just not for me.
Yeah. There are just some games where some people like them more and some people like them less.
Yeah. And that's the
And
beauty of the
yeah,
series is that there are
there
so
is
many
so
games,
much. Yeah.
and like as a fan of the series, like you're just not going to have two people with the same like rank and that rankings, and I think that's fine. I think that's good.
Hmm. Yeah, like an example of that is my sister and I have the same favorite two games, which are Curse of Blackmore Manor and Shadow of the Water's Edge. But her number three game is um The Haunting of Castle Malloy,
Ooh.
and I could not have that game as my number three, but she loves it.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it might change soon. It might change, or maybe it's number four or something. But it is in her top five, which is
Interesting.
impressive. Yeah, but it just goes to show how diverse the tastes are among the Clue crew with our
Okay.
favorite game.
All right.
But yeah,
Well, do you have any more thoughts before we wrap up?
um, invite Nancy to the festival, please.
Yes.
Let her be happy.
Yeah.
Also, I hope Charlie finds a home.
Me too.
Yeah.
I hope
No
that
more
like
living in walls.
he needs to get like a dorm scholarship at college.
He does. He does. Like, the man, he needs help.
Mm-hmm.
But at least he's a good handyman. If
Yeah.
it weren't for Lewis.
Lewis.
Oh well. Alright, so I
Okay.
think that is all for today.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. As
Yes, thank
always.
you.
Oh, and happy 2024. This
Yes,
is our
happy
first
2024. Yes.
yeah, happy
That is
new
the new
year.
year.
Um
Happy Mystery of the Seven Keys is coming out this year.
ah!
Yay!
I can't wait to play it and talk about it.
I know, we're gonna have so much fun. We're probably gonna have to do a two-parter for that one.
Probably. Yeah, I have a feeling we'll
we're
have a
gonna
lot
have
to talk
a
about.
lot. Yeah, we're gonna have a
Yeah.
lot. Oh,
But
yes.
of course, thank you so much for listening to us in 2023. And we appreciate all of the support that you guys have given and are continuing to give. And we hope that you'll be with us again throughout 2024 as we bring you some more episodes and try to, give you things to laugh at and laugh with. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much again. We'll see you again soon. Take care of yourselves, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks. Bye.